read one? Someone is translating? There's no purport. We go on to the next verse 2. Shri Brahmavacha. I'll just read it through. Tate me dulabhat pumsam yan vrinishe varanam mama tatapi vitadam yanga varanya japi dulabam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Lord Brahma said, O Hiranyakashipu, these benedictions for which you have asked are difficult to obtain for most men. Nonetheless, O my son, I shall grant you them, although they are generally not available. Purport. Material benedictions are not always exactly worthy of being called benedictions. If one possesses more and more, a benediction itself may become a curse. For just as achieving material opulence in this material world requires great strength and endeavor, maintaining it also requires great endeavor. Lord Brahma informed Hiranyakashipu that although he was ready to offer him whatever he had asked, the result of the benedictions would be very difficult for Hiranyakashipu to maintain. Nonetheless, since Brahma had promised, he wanted to grant all the benedictions asked. The word durlabhan indicates that one should not take benedictions which one cannot enjoy peacefully. I'll read the verses again. It's not on the board, so I'll read the first and second verse so you get the thread. Narada Muni continued, Lord Brahma was very much satisfied by Hiranyakashipu's austerities, which were very difficult to perform. Therefore, when solicited for benedictions, he indeed granted them, although they were rarely to be achieved. Lord Brahma said, O Hiranyakashipu, these benedictions for which you have asked are difficult to obtain for most men. Nonetheless, O my son, I shall grant you them, although they are generally not available. This is a very important section of Srimad Bhagavatam. Last time, Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nrsimhadev and very significant. In Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu generally discuss these pastimes with the devotees in Sri Maharaj, pastime Prahlad Maharaj. And Sri Prabhupada also lectured on this, not particularly this chapter so much, but chapters in this section. He lectured many times. 1976 in Mayapur, 1977. Sri Prabhupada was lecturing on the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, this particular section of the pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev. It's very, very significant for our spiritual lives. The wishes of Lord Nrsimhadev, although to some they may feel that this is a little distant or a little bit unusual for those who are trying to develop their love of Radha and Krishna. But it is not. It is absolutely connected. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he went into Shimapali, he was praying to the deities there of Lord Nrsimhadev, the deity of Lord Nrsimhadev, to please grant him love for Radha and Govinda. Because without the mercy, or say the principle of the mercy of Lord Nrsimhadev, we cannot really approach Radha and Krishna. As long as our hearts are impure, just like Hiranyakashipu, he was approaching Lord Brahma. It's interesting also, he was approaching Lord Brahma as if Lord Brahma was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Creator. He praised him in so many flowery words before asking for benediction of various kinds. But this is the natural approach. When we approach somebody, we usually glorify them or flatter them a little bit first before getting around to what we want. We don't usually go straight into the head, sometimes. But usually we like try to butter them up a little bit, like on Sankirtan or something. We don't usually just go up to someone and say, hey, give a donation. We usually talk to them a little bit first, break the ice, make them feel a little bit important or something. And then you ask what you want. And they feel a little bit more obligated. This is natural even in prayer. So when you actually release approaching Lord Brahma, which is usually the case for those who are materialistically inclined, they tend to approach the demigods for their material benedictions. They're described as being less intelligent persons. Nonetheless, they are approaching demigods, and demigods nonetheless are, they may not be pure devotees, but they are representatives of Krishna. So something is there. In the case of Hiranyakashipu, his desires, usually when people approach demigods, they have desires for four things: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, usually. In those four brackets, these are usually what people think the goal of life is, to attain success in these four. So certainly the case of Hiranyakashipu, he is very keen to get success in both in kama, sense gratification, and artha, power or economic development. That's for sure. So he's hoping that Brahma will fulfill all of his desires. That's his plan. This is how materialistic people are, whether they approach demigods. They may also approach Krishna. That's a little different thing. We'll hear about that in a minute. But they may approach Krishna also for material desire. But in principle, most material people see God or whoever representative of God as an order supplier. In case Hiranyakashipu is demoniac, it's so that he can become so powerful that he can actually, basically speaking, be God and wants to become the supreme controller. Whichever way, that's usually people have a selfish motivation. They want economic development, relief from distress, sense gratification, whatever, of various kinds of wealth, and so on. They often approach the demigods for these purposes. But as Prabhupada says here in the purport, it's not a very wise or very intelligent thing to do, because even though they get their benedictions, you all know, material benedictions are short-living. And even when we have them, they're usually wrought with all kinds of anxiety and distress, just because you become very wealthy, or very healthy, or very wise, materially speaking, or very powerful, famous person, materially speaking. It doesn't necessitate that one becomes satisfied or happy any more than anyone else. It doesn't depend upon one's material acquisition. Happiness comes from other reasons, karma, and so on. But people don't want to know that. They just want to try to forcibly increase their happiness, but they increase their suffering. And the stress increases the more they try to increase their material power and happiness and wealth and so on. So Hiranyakashipu also. What to speak of getting a boon is very difficult. Maintaining material things is even more difficult. Everyone knows how difficult it is. I remember going back perhaps to 1973 or something here in the UK, and there was one man in Leicester, Indian man. He was a little lusty, he was a devotee, sort of at least a sympathizer. And he was very keen to get married. Nothing wrong with that necessarily, you could say. He had specifically wanted to marry a particular Indian girl who was like a very attractive girl. So he wasn't very high up the list of candidates. And he was a little bit frustrated. He was trying everything he